Here from the eTail blog, and I'm here at eTail Boston 2012 with Lisa Gavales from Express. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Lisa just gave a great presentation this morning, bright and early, on day 3 of the show, about the various things that Express is doing and just kind of philosophies on where we're going with this whole digital marketing thing. So I wanted to kind of outline just the 4 steps that you had given throughout your presentation, which are sort of ways for the future. So why don't we start with the first one? It's around social. Why is social so important? How is it changing, and how should we look at social as retailers, as marketers?
Well, social clearly is important because that's where our customer is, and when your customer is someplace, you need to be there too. I think that the opportunity for us is to make sure that we're engaging with her on the platform that she's engaging with in a way that she's engaging with it. And I think that's one of the things that's going on is people keep talking about ROI, and I would tell you I think we should be talking about engagement. And the more we can talk to the customer and they can talk back to us, and the more we can be front of mind, that's what social does for us as a marketing brand, not a direct click to sales.
Right. Now, how difficult is it to convince, let's say, your CEO or whoever it is that's above you that ROI is not really what we should be looking at with social?
Well, I would say that if the entire marketing program didn't have ROI, it would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Given that in total we have a good return on investment, it's just part of what we do and who we are, and each part of the marketing mix has a different purpose.
Right. So second step was about mobile, and we're talking about how we have to really focus on mobile, how it's going to change the game. What is it about mobile that is really so dynamic, and how do we need to think about mobile in terms of the customer? Is it really its own channel? Is it really part of this whole omni-channel mix? Let's talk about mobile a little bit.
Sure. Well, mobile I think it's easy to talk about because everybody has a phone next to them. With the presence of mobile in virtually everybody's pocket, there has to be some solve to what is new about that in our industry. Right. I will tell you though, the challenge is in thinking about it as a channel. I think the truth is when somebody's in your store and they have a mobile device and they're using your app, what channel really are they using? Right. Today, I think we judge that based on where they made the purchase, or worse, where we shipped it from. And I would tell you that I think mobile sort of breaks the boundaries of what channels are.
Right.
But that said, I think the biggest opportunity for retailers with bricks and mortar is that a customer is walking into your store with a mobile device. What is it that we're going to do that's going to change the way we do business? And I don't know the answer, but I think it's coming soon.
Yeah. Third step was about consistency and just really driving consistency, because that's going to make it simple for the customer. How do we do that? And how do we create consistency across channels? And how do we just continue to simplify?
Well, I think it's gotten much harder for the customer. What used to be a relatively simple path to purchase has become much more complicated. And so our job is to make sure that we give her information as clearly and concisely as possible and don't make her search the web. When the web first came out and I went on it, I thought it really is a web. You kind of get tangled in there and you don't really know how to get out. It's our job to make sure that we're giving her what we think she might be, we might anticipate what she's thinking so that we can give her in less clicks an answer to solve her problem. Because at the end of the day, customers purchase to solve problems.
Right. Last step in the 4-step kind of lessons that we learned today was about organizing around your brand. We can't forget how important the brand message is to our customers. How do we organize our structure around our brand and the importance of our brand image?
So I think with the advent of the internet, I pick it 10 years ago, we started to reorganize around channels.
Yeah.
So there would be a president of stores and a president of retail, and under those organizations would be marketing, merchandising, creative. And though some of us have gone back and forth, I would argue that organizing around functional attributes, multi-channel, is a much more successful alternative because, in general, a merchant is an independent person, and so is a creative person. And if we let there be 2 merchants and 2 creatives and 2 marketing departments, you're not going to have a consistent brand message across all your channels.
Right.
So multi-channel organization, I believe, is the answer.
Right. And one other thing that you mentioned in the presentation had to do with when it comes to social media, the brand really is what is so important. And you mentioned a sort of hypothetical statistical scenario where you have 12% of your conversions are coming from your e-commerce, much bigger conversion coming from the store perhaps, but you have a very large ratio of people that are actually hitting you online. How's that possible? And can you just kind of explain that?
Sure. I think the math backs me up that you really need to think about your channels as brand leaders more than as individual channels. Because in a typical retailer, in my space, in apparel at least, a website might be doing about 12% of the business. But when you include the fact that at 12% of the business, it's a 3% conversion rate versus in stores where it's, whatever that is, 88% of the business on a 20% conversion rate, if you do some quick math, you'll see that there are actually as many people visiting your website as visiting your stores. And if your website is only geared towards sales on the website and not sales of your total brand, we're missing out on the big picture.
Right. Well, thank you so much. One more question, kind of off topic, but I'm asking everyone, what are you reading and who are you aspiring to be like in the industry or outside?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I read easily 25 or 30 e-newsletters that come through every day. That sort of boggle my mind because there is so much going on. And who do we aspire to? I have to say, honestly, I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. And though we are certainly not filled with every answer and we still have plenty of questions, I'm not sure that there's somebody else out there who's doing it exactly the way we would or we'd be doing it right now.
Anybody outside the industry who inspires you?
Oh, I think there are lots of people outside the industry. There are brands like Apple and Nike and sort of the traditional ones who are doing pretty incredible things with their brand. Although on a multi-channel basis, I do think that retailers have to take the lead.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Is it your first time at eTail? Or?
It is not.
Okay. So you've been before.
Not only that, I spoke at eTail, well, too long ago for me to mention, but a while ago.
Great. Well, thank you so much again.